Hello everyone, welcome to Live with Sirus Migration Education. My name is Yusuriapa. I've got Ashani right next to me. We both are Australian Education and Migration Agent, and Ashani's got just started advising and got registered in New Zealand migration as well. So we are now open for Australian migration, education, and New Zealand enrollment, recruitment, and migration as well. So today's our second, I guess, live session for 2025. We already had one last week, but as usual, our intention is to share our knowledge. If you have any doubts or questions that you need to ask, we would like to demystify any issues that you carry and then support you through the process in applying for visas or getting enrolled to universities. So if you have any questions, feel free to put your question down below in the comment section. And until then, we'll be talking about a few topics.
Yeah, and if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so. We try our best to get videos about all the Australian migration related matters, and soon it will be New Zealand migration related matters coming into our YouTube videos as well. So if you haven't subscribed, I guess this is the time to hit that subscribe button. Right, so let's get to it. Our session today is for half an hour. As Sirus said, this is the best time to get all your questions answered. We'll try our best to answer the questions live. If not, we will come back to you with a solution or a free consultation to talk to you individually to see how we can help you best. Now, when it comes to Australian migration, as we always say, the key is to know your goals and work on it from day one. Don't wait till the last minute. That brings us to our latest changes for work visa, subclass 482. We've been waiting for a long time and it finally happened in December. So I thought I'll take this opportunity to discuss a little about the new subclass 482 skill in demand visa, the requirements, and especially the new core skills occupation list. Right. So subclass 482, as you all know, it's an employer nominated work visa. It's a temporary visa given for people who has a occupation in a demanded occupation list in Australia, and there is an Australian employer who's willing to offer them a job. So that is just the basic key criteria. There are other criteria you have to meet. With this, there were some changes coming. We were waiting, and then finally the changes are here. What has changed? So there is a new occupation list. That's the biggest change. Medium to long-term list and short-term list, the previous lists that were applicable to subclass 482 is no longer available. Now your occupation has to be in the CSOL or the core skills occupation list if you want to apply for a subclass 482 visa. And the name has changed. It's not TSS anymore. It is called the skill in demand visa. And there are 3 streams open right now. First one is the core skills, and then the specialist skills, and now the labor agreement as well. We haven't seen the essential skills pathway yet. The difference between core skills and the specialist skills is mainly the salary. If your offered salary is over $135,000 plus super, then you are sort of automatically falls under the specialist skill. The advantage of this stream is the faster processing time, mainly I think. They say 11 days for these people who gets the salary of $135,000 or more, but still the same occupation list for core skills, the CSOL. But for specialist skills, there is no occupation list. For example, I'll give you a really good example. Right now in the new CSOL, the occupation restaurant manager, it's not available. But let's say there is a restaurant manager who's getting a salary of $135,000 or more. that restaurant manager is able to still apply for the subclass 482 under specialist skills. So hope that makes sense.
So even though they've gotten rid of a couple of occupations, the people with significant
Salary.
significant skill and also has a real life job demand, they have honored that by giving putting a benchmark for the salary level.
So I think this is a really good change to offer them a pathway without restricting it to a occupation list.
Yeah.
That way they can feel the real demand, whether it falls under a list or not, because with how the world's changing and how the economy is changing, it's really difficult to categorize everyone into an occupation or two. So that's it about the new skill in demand visa. If you have an employer, or if you're in Australia or offshore and you believe that there is an opportunity to get a job here, or maybe you're currently working for an employer after your student visa on 485 or while holding student visa, I think it's a good time to have a chat with your employer to see if they are willing to assist you in securing your work visa first, and then potentially getting a subclass 186 towards your permanent residency as well. There are more employers than you think who's willing to extend their assistance to get employees on board.
Yeah, I'm also thought of talking to you about a topic that's totally away from this topic, but talking to my clients last few weeks, understanding that the student visas finishing on 15th of March, most of them, and some of them have no options other than to go back to their home country and then try for other options. What I thought, if a lot of people have this issue where they're over 35 and they have had a different migration strategy or a plan with them when they came sign up for their master's degree or their education plan. I spoke to one of my clients this morning from Uganda, one from Brazil. They're about 35. They are studying their master's courses. But the problem that they're facing is they, even though they have very good industry background, they have very good experience in the field, they don't have enough time to get ready for their next visa because their 485, there's no 485 available for them. But what I also realized, thinking out loud, just proper research and understanding what other course options are available could get this student a proper pathway to go back to their routine. So if you're a student finishing up your courses soon and you're about to be 35 or you're going to be 35 by the time you're completing your course, it is always good to have a proper guidance from an experienced education or a migration agent, especially a migration agent. If you have
35 or 36, sorry.
35.
Yeah. So they have to be 35. They cannot be 36, right?
They cannot be 35.
35.
Yeah.
Okay.
For you to be able to apply for 485. So if you're hitting any of those hurdles, it's best to be prepared right now. So you can put yourself in the right path. And there are so many options available if you plan properly. With the new changes with 482, you only require 1 year work experience, and that 1 year work experience can be work experience during your course. So if you, for an example, if you have worked before your course, maybe you're a master's student and you're qualified, maybe you're studying professional accounting for an example, and you have worked before after your bachelor's or during your bachelor's, you can count all those experiences as long as they're within the last 5 years. So
And that can 407 can also be an option for
Yeah,
these people.
if you're
A lot
really
of
out
people
of
don't even
options
know
and you
about this 407 option. I think we've done few videos that you can go to our YouTube channel and have a look as well.
407 is the training visa. Don't consider it as the 408, which used to be the COVID visa, special event visa back then, where if you don't have an option, you just jump into the 408. But if you have the correct skill sets and you're working in the industry and you have employers to back you up and they in front of your work experience and your work ethics and your background, you can always look into 407 option. 407 is not the same as 482. It's a training visa.
Yeah,
You need
it's
to have
very
an
different and also
Yeah.
cheap as well. Less burden on the employees because there is no minimum payment requirement. And the eligibility requirement is quite simple, especially for someone who studied in Australia for over a year. They're automatically eligible for it.
Absolutely, but the catch is you need to have a supervisor who's going to train you, and you need to have a proper plan how to
Yeah.
get yourself trained. So, minding all that, you might have a plenty of options. So if you're stressing, take a deep breath and plan yourself properly. I think everyone's got good options.
Take a deep breath and call Sirus migration.
Always.
Yeah, we've got a couple of questions. We'll probably just read them and see. I've got Kenneth asking, bending machine, I'm interested. Sorry, if you could please retype your question a little bit more detailed, that will be helpful. In the meantime, Savneel's asking, what is the processing time for existing 482 medium-term visa for priority application? That is a really good question that everybody's been asking me these few weeks. So for subclass 482 medium-term, which is the older version of the 482, the processing times are extremely long. These days, if you look at the immigration website, I think it says 8 to 10 months somewhere there. But I've seen some grants coming, a really good number of grants coming to us today and also this week. So I'm hoping that the processing times will keep reducing for these applicants. But right now there is a global, we can see that there is a delay in 482. Even sometimes the nomination is approved, but visas taking 3 to 4, 5, 6 or even longer, which is quite unusual. I've
So
got Pavita asking, Ali is asking, sir, I lodged my 189 on 25th of November. Can I expect grant in this financial year?
Hard to tell. I mean, a good thing is if you've done a 189 onshore, your benefits are there. You can start working. You can continue doing whatever you want. But the actual answer for your question could be hopefully this year. But I wouldn't put too much hopes in this financial year. I would say next financial year with the experience with the processing times. Having said that, if you're onshore, plan yourself with your next steps. I don't think there's too much to worry about. But if you're offshore, plan yourself give yourself for a year or two, winding up whatever you're doing and planning yourself coming across. But congratulations that you got your 189 invitation.
Yeah. I was just looking at some information for the next question. Pavita is saying, I'm doing diploma in childcare and my CO is finishing in April. What is my best next step? Pavita, you have more options than someone who had options in last November. So a really good news for most of the applicants is childcare worker has gone into the new CSOL list, which means childcare workers are now eligible to apply for subclass 407 as well as subclass 482. So if you have been, for example, working part-time during your diploma, you could be eligible to apply for an employee-nominated visa as soon as you finish your course. So get in touch with a migration agent, find out your options. We are happy to assist you to look at your CV and guide you through your next steps, given I'm hoping that you have got some work experience in hand.
Tushani Gamage asking from YouTube whether we are supporting finding a sponsor. Yes or no, depending on some of our corporate clients at times, as I always say, tell us they're looking for certain skills, and if we don't have someone in our database, we always put it up in our social media, looking for a mechanic, looking for an accountant, looking for a chef, looking for a software engineer, software tester. We always put it up there, but we don't particularly go out and do it as part of our services, or look for certain. We don't try to match your skills into current jobs. But if you are interested to learn or get introduced to a recruitment agent, we are more than happy to introduce you to few recruitment agents to find out if they have any vacancies available.
And Pavita is saying, I have 1 year and 8 months experience, but on casual staff. I would really appreciate if you could please help me. So the good news is casual experience can be counted for 482, but we need that 1 year full-time equivalent. So because you have 1 year, 8 months, I think if we combine it all, I need to go through your pay slips and find out exactly how many hours you worked each fortnight or each week. Then we should be able to tell you whether you're eligible right now, or if not, then when would you be eligible for
what will be helpful for
482.
you, Pavita, is if you get a open up an Excel sheet and put every week where you had a
how many hours
how
you
many
worked.
hours,
Yeah.
and the date, how many hours.
Go by the pay slip
Week
and
to
just
week.
enter it into a spreadsheet.
And then you can probably count it from there.
And also what Isru said earlier, if you're on a student visa and just say you're not eligible as soon as your COE finish, because you're studying diploma of childcare, you may be eligible for another student visa for further education, which then you can use that time to keep gathering your experience until you're ready for a subclass 482. So that could be another option to get you a visa in the interim, and plus to upskill yourself. We've got Muthu's asking, Tushani is saying
You're
thank
welcome,
you,
Tushani.
you're welcome. Muthu's asking, how about nurse? Can one come as a caregiver for 482 visa? We are, again, yes, but it's a bit difficult because it is sometimes difficult to find a sponsor. Right now, caregivers can only come under subclass 482 visa to an
Or through
aged
Dharma.
care center, either through Dharma or through labor agreement. Company specific or the industry specific labor agreement, and sometimes it is difficult to find an employer which fulfills these criteria.
Especially if you're overseas, there
Yeah.
is a big demand, and there were so many that they got filled up with overseas clients. But it's ongoing. We've experienced one of our clients just got sponsored through Dharma for a caregiver, and she also received 4.8 age exemption as well. So it is possible, but she's been working and studying in the subject for a while here as well. So
Yeah. Yua is asking, I have a question regarding my 482 visa as a cook. One of my pay slips, I only worked 20 hours for that week, but I didn't take any paid leave during that time. Will this impact my eligibility when applying for the 186 visa through the TRT stream? I think I need to know more information. I need to look at all your 2 years work experience and pay slips and everything else to decide exactly when you will be eligible for TRT. It can be a bit tricky because as a cook, I think you only got a visa for 2 years. And that 2 years, if you didn't already work for the employer, then that could be a bit tricky. So why don't you send us an email? Happy to assess the whole case and give you advice as to when you will be eligible for 186 TRT. And it's very important that we get it right the first time before we lodging the 186 TRT.
Yasit also has a very good question. Can we apply for a skill migration as a nurse from Sri Lanka? Yes, but the trick is a nurse requires a registration. registration can be a long and difficult process. Um, while applying for a nurse registration from overseas, especially with your overseas student academic experience. So you'll have to work with AFRA and NMAC to understand what's missing out, and you'll probably have to fill up that gap. What we always recommend is there is a course, master's course called very much demanded course, 2-year course called Masters for Nurses.
Master in nursing, qualifying.
So it is for people like you, and also people like who doesn't have much of a nursing background, but they want to come to nursing and they do have a bachelor's degree. They can do this. So you can probably consider that there is a professional English requirement. So professional English means IELTS 7 in each band, or PTE 65 in each band. So hopefully it answered your question.
And next question is from my existing client Savnil. Hi Savnil, hoping that Ashani will give me a call soon, informing that my 482 is granted. This is my personal promise to you. It won't be Ruchi, it will be me who's calling to inform you that once your visa is granted. So I think that's all the questions for now. Let's talk about GTI.
Yeah, GTI, NIV. So NIV is being taken a big turn. The procedures has been changed a lot. It's now called National Innovation Visa, NIV. They have changed the priority system. So if you got a super prominent background with Nobel Prizes, you get priority 1. So you don't have to go through these point systems, age problems, all of that. You can go straight into an invitation and you get given the biggest priority, and you and your family can apply for permanent residency with that invitation. So if you got a substantive background or a very prominent background, that's for you. And the next one, it's a little the way I look at it is it's more like your general skill migration process to start with. The government agencies with trade investment unit agencies of certain states, they have formed certain priority officers who's got knowledge about that in different areas. So if you're coming from subcontinent, for an example, there is a TIQ from Queensland sector. You have a TIQ officer sits in India who looks after all of that region for giving nominations for NIVs. So you have to put up your profile and explain how good you are. They especially in Queensland, they give priorities for innovative technologies.
Yeah, different states will have their own criteria to nominate someone for NIV. We are still getting to know. I think even the states are still getting to know their criteria. So in the next coming weeks and months, we will know more about what is the criteria to be invited under Priority 2. To be eligible for Priority 2, you need to get an invitation or you need to get nominated from a Commonwealth or state government agency.
Correct. And we are currently working with quite a few clients, and we are experiencing new procedures which were introduced, and it has taken a little longer than usual, but hopefully we'll have that program operating.
That's right.
Having said that, Priority 3 is
Yeah.
the normal GTI, I guess.
No, they've broken it into 2, 3 and 4, yeah.
So you can, as long as you have a nominator and if you qualify through that high income threshold, etc., you can go get it.
Yeah.
Or you got to be a distinguished talent as it used to be back in the days.
Yeah.
So 858's been splitted and expanded for prominent people. So nothing to be discouraged about. It's there are a lot more priorities, lot more pathways.
And I think it'll be a bit slow at the beginning, getting to know the processes and the criteria, and then once it all falls into place, I think there will be opportunities. There's 3,000 places for
Yeah.
this visa for this financial year, which is a big number when you look at numbers wise.
So if you're a prominent person in global talent platform, where you have higher income, you've been a hero in technologies or a recognized person, we might be able to help you find your pathway for yourself and your family to come to Australia as a permanent resident in the post-COVID economic boost program called used to be called GTI, now called NIV, National Innovation Visa Stream.
Yeah, I've got Munish asking a question. Hello, ma'am. For 1 year experience, onshore work experience for 5 marks as RN, how many hours per week required, and is it casual or regular, full time? To claim experience for skill migration, it can be part time, at least 20 hours a week. It can be casual, part time, or full time, but at least 20 hours per week is what you need to prove.
20 hours is your key point for general skill migration.
Yeah. Anything else? Any other things you want to? Okay. Yua is asking, could you please let me know your fees for consulting services related to the subclass 186 visa, as you mentioned earlier?
Public forum, I don't know. It all depends on how much work we have to provide. So that's why we always consult what's our fees after a consultation, understanding what sort of work we can guesstimate with your application. Generally starting off about $6,000 between plus GST between the employer and the employee. So it can go up from there. Yeah. Again,
be in touch. I'm happy to do a consultation, understand your scenario, see how many applicants are there, how complicated, and then we will definitely give you a fee. And then our fees are normally fixed fees.
Fixed
as
price
well.
fees.
Yes.
Yeah, we so you don't have to be worried about
fees for every phone call or
email
consultation.
address. And
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
We talk about the expo.
Yeah, we've got an expo. We just had. We've got an expo coming up in Sri Lanka in a couple of days, 25th of January and
26th of January in Kandy.
Kandy. Wow, look forward to it.
Yeah, if you're in Sri Lanka, just drop by. You'll get to meet our education consultants, and sometimes the migration agents join in for live sessions as well through the seminar. So if you're there, please drop by and see if there is something you can gain from that. Yo is asking now just for the advice, TRT stream, the consultation fees. Our initial consultation for subclass 186 is free of charge. So if you want a 15 to 20 minutes consultation, then it will be free for you.
Then we got a great expo coming in Sri Lanka again with QUT, Queensland University of Technology. There are 2 days, 7th and 8th, I think, of February. We reach Colombo at Havelock City and also KCC Kandy. I'm going to be there myself. Yogesh is going to be there, one of our senior education consultants, and QUT representative is going to be there, where you get opportunities to talk to university directly. In the meantime, if you have any other questions with students or migration, we'll be able to help you out. But it will be a very good opportunity for you to explore the Queensland University of Technology, which is one of the best universities in town, and well-regarded universities, and ask them questions one-on-one yourself.
Yeah, and Monesh is asking, can we apply both 189 and 190 New South Wales with one EOI? Yes, you most probably can. but
We advise
we
not to.
advise to do 2 separate EOIs, especially if you're doing New South Wales. Don't apply for other states. New South Wales government is quite strict on that. Thank you so much. I'll be contacting tomorrow 11:30 a.m. Is there any specific migration agent to contact about it? Here it could be through or me.
Yeah, but if you talk to our office, they'll be able to
Schedule a
schedule
time.
the times
Yes.
available between your
Can you
schedule and
type
our
the
schedule.
phone number?
There you go.
Yeah, that's our phone number. So you can call today, preferably, and see if there are any times available.
I can help find an employer-sponsored visa for travel consultant. It's under CSOL. Look, Lakshan, good question, but as you said, you have to work on we are migration consultants. We can introduce you to specific recruitment agencies depending on your CV. But once you find the employer, we can advise you the rest. But before you apply for the visas, for you to understand what's required for employer sponsored, if you are not aware yet, happy to give you guidance so you can be ready with your work experience. What's if you need to go through a skills assessment, or if you don't have to get through a skill assessment, what English levels you need, what work experience, we can guide you through. But finding an employer is your part.
And Munish is saying, okay, ma'am, thanks for your valuable information. Great live show. Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much.
much.
These encouragements matter a lot to us. I think that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining the live show and asking all the questions. We encourage people to do this every fortnight.
Look, rather than paying money and sitting for initial consultation, come here, ask us questions. We're happy to share our knowledge and discuss, get yourself qualified. There are critical times you might need our services and our support. And if you choose us being the best, then you can always call us and we will make sure we are the best.
Seeing the last question before we go, Singh is asking, hi, what is the fees for skill assessment and your fees? So skill assessment fee will depend on which authority you apply and which type of skill assessment. It varies for every single occupation and every single authority. And our fees will also depend on which authority we are approaching and how much work is there. So we do a preliminary assessment and then we quote the fees based on the amount of work that we will have to be doing. And again, once we quote the fee, it's a set fee.
Yeah, it's just around $1,000 mark. It's not. It depends up and down.
Yeah.
Depends on how much work.
All right, thank you. Once again, we will see you in 2 weeks' time. If you have any questions, keep them in mind and don't forget to join us.
Hit that subscribe button and the like button. Thank you. Last one. The assessment is chargeable. Which assessment though? Like if you're talking about, Alvin, your question, if you're talking about initial assessment, we mostly assess your eligibility
without
no charges.
charging. Yes.
It's no point charging you for if you're not eligible. So, all right, take
See
care,
you,
guys.
everyone.
Have a good
Bye-bye.
weekend. Bye.